She was not only the last pharaoh, but also she was able to seduce two of the most powerful men of her time, Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. But what made Cleopatra so irresistible? Was it just her appearance? Or were there more refined techniques that made her stand out like that? In this video we will explore how Cleopatra's seductive talents worked, and most importantly, how you can apply her timeless techniques to enhance your own charisma and power of seduction. Hello my dear viewers, welcome back to my channel. Today, as you can see, I have put on some extra eyeliner in honor of the greatest woman in history, or at least one of the greatest women in history, Cleopatra. And I also got some Cleopatra inspired outfit because I really like to dress according to the topics of my videos. But without further ado, let's start, because I have prepared many very useful tips for you, and we will just explore what we can learn as today's modern women from Cleopatra. And we will start with number one, which has to do with our voice. One of Cleopatra's greatest assets was her voice. It is said that she had a very sweet, enchanting voice that could captivate anyone. Your voice, just like Cleopatra's, can be a powerful tool of seduction. So learning how to use your voice and how to modulate it is really key. Work on making your voice softer, calmer, and more passionate depending on the situation you're in. And you don't need to be born with a naturally seductive voice. There are many techniques to bring out the best in it. Just like Cleopatra, you can use tone, pace, and rhythm to create an irresistible allure. So you might consider working with a voice teacher, or even practice with specific apps or programs. Or you just watch some of my videos. I have made two with regards to voice. And in one, I am also teaching how you can develop a calmer and a more soft voice. And in the other one, I'm analyzing the voice of Marilyn Monroe, who is also known for having a very seductive and sweet voice. Of course, Cleopatra has lived long time ago, and we don't have any recordings of her voice. So the only thing that we have are passages that have been written down from different people about her, historical sources, but we can imagine that she must have had a very special and seductive voice, otherwise people would not have pointed it out. So here are three quick tips for summary. The first is speak more slowly and softly when you want to grab someone's attention. So speaking slowly and softly will always make your voice more comfortable and comforting. The second tip, use pauses to create tension and attention. When we speak, and this is also a technique that professional speakers are using, and we pause in between, people become more attentive. And the third tip is work on your vocal modulation and don't be afraid to experiment with different tones. If you have been used to talk in a very high-pitched tone, try to read, for example, in a lower voice. So experiment a little bit. What is another attribute or technique that Cleopatra might have used to seduce and to be so captivating? Another thing that can be found in historical sources from people that have written about Cleopatra is that she was very cultured and communicative. That's why tip number two would be to cultivate intelligence and communication skills. Contrary to popular belief, Cleopatra's appeal was not solely based on her physical appearance. On the contrary, historical accounts even suggest that she wasn't the stunning beauty that everybody or that most people think nowadays. But her intelligence, her wit, and her ability to communicate were what truly seduced Caesar and Antony. She was, for example, very well read, cultured, and she spoke multiple languages. Those were things that were not normal for women in these times. And even today, those are special attributes, and they become even more special. Those are things that are always worth cultivating. Of course, we always imagine Cleopatra as this stunning, beautiful seductress. That's why she's also portrayed in movies by stunning, beautiful women such as Monicabellucci or Elizabeth Taylor. But this is because that's her whole image. She has this image of being the seductive, beautiful woman. But if we look at actual portraits from the past, well, of course, in the past there have not been, we cannot rely on how accurate those drawings or portraits of her actually were. But they are not portraying a stunning beauty, and from the historical sources, the written sources that can be found, she really wasn't. That's why it must have been more than her looks. And that's actually a very good news for all of us. Looks can of course be enhanced, but they are also something that will be gone, and it is not forever, and that we should never rely on. That's why it is important to cultivate those other attributes that can make us very seductive and appealing, such as intelligence and communication skills. So similarly, you can also enhance your attractiveness by cultivating your mind. For example, intelligence and the ability to holding interesting conversations are incredibly seductive qualities, and especially among women. Find topics you are passionate about, whether it's languages, music, culture, literature, and become knowledgeable in them. When you speak confidently about a subject, your eyes will sparkle. You will have a different charisma. You will naturally captivate others. This always happens to me when I'm talking about dance. At least many people have already told me that my eyes start to sparkle and I start talking in a very captivating way when I'm telling someone about my passion for dance. So let's quickly summarize the 3 tips for you. First, read about topics that interest you. Practice having engaging, meaningful conversations and show that you are intelligent. Don't be afraid to express your knowledge. It is an alluring trait that Cleopatra mastered, together with her other traits that we will come to now. It is also known that Cleopatra famously portrayed herself as a goddess to those around her. Now, of course, she was the queen of Egypt and she had a kind of another standing and a different fame, so she could pull that off. But maybe we can learn something from her in this point as well. To Caesar, she claimed divine heritage, and to Antony, she embodied the goddess Aphrodite, the goddess of love. So while it may seem impossible to pull that off in modern times, also as a normal woman, the lesson here is to present yourself with the same confidence and allure. So you don't need to tell someone that you are a goddess, although there is a niche for that and women are doing that. What I would rather recommend you is to present yourself as exclusive, refined and mysterious. Act as if you are someone special, because you are, and others will start to see you as that. A sense of mystery and allure also can make you appear a little bit unattainable, which can be incredibly seductive. And this is also widely known. Now, how to apply that? Remember those 3 points as a little summary of point number 3. First, present yourself with confidence. Carry yourself as someone of high value. Second, don't be too easily impressed and too accessible. A little mystery adds allure. Show that you have high standards and expect others to meet them. So that means know your values and stand by them. Now we come to point number 4, which is also a very interesting point. Cleopatra knew how to offer an escape from the stresses of life. Her presence, her charm and her conversations provided Antony or Caesar with an oasis from their demanding worlds. Now, Caesar and Antony were of course under a lot of pressure. Today, it's not like you are dating the president of, I don't know what country, but normal people, normal men and also women are also under a lot of pressure in their jobs, depending on the job. So being an escape for that, for someone, can be incredibly addictive and seductive. That doesn't mean that you have to lure every interaction in something very extravagant like Cleopatra did, because she had the money for it and she had the means for it. But it is more the excitement, moments of joy, of spontaneity, and these moments will create positive associations. So when someone starts seeing you as the person who lifts them out of their daily stresses, they will begin to crave your presence. If you want to know more about how Cleopatra did this, I can recommend you again one of my favorite books, The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene, because he is also explaining and describing Cleopatra's case of being a seductress, and especially this way of being the goddess, offering this escape, this fantasy world. This was actually her strength and her particular seductive trait that is very much explained in the book of Robert Greene. So read it if you are interested in more details. And I will tell you now what you should remember and how you can apply this tip in your daily life. Number one would be to plan or suggest experiences or dates that are also fun and adventurous. So think a little bit out of the box. Suggest something that is not so conventional. Second, be positive and lighthearted to create moments of laughter and joy. Put yourself in a good mood. And number three, leave an interaction before it becomes dull. So always leave the person wanting for more. And now we come to technique number 5, which is very powerful: balancing presence with absence. One of Cleopatra's most subtle but effective techniques was knowing how and when to make herself scarce. She understood that absence can make a heart grow fonder. After spending an intense time with either Caesar or Antony, she would leave for a while, creating a longing for her return. Being constantly available diminishes your appeal. By stepping away occasionally, you also allow the other person to miss you. However, make sure to return before they grow accustomed to your absence. So the balance is what will keep them hooked, or what kept hooked Caesar and Antony. And I will now tell you how you can do that without faking it. Trust me, how to apply that. First, don't be overly available or predictable. Second, give space after an exciting time together to build anticipation. And you don't have to force that or to fake that. If you have an active life and you have interests for yourself and things going on for yourself, this can happen totally naturally. And third, return before they get used to your absence and lose interest. So now we see that Cleopatra's power of seduction was definitely not just about her looks. And maybe her looks were even the smallest part of it. Her power was about intelligence, confidence, mystery, and timing. I have already talked about confidence a lot, but I observed this in my normal life so often. That women who are actually not very conventionally pretty or super attractive have a huge advantage over those who are very pretty but not confident. So I mean, the women who are very confident and not super pretty have much more success and are also considered more attractive than many women who are very pretty but not confident. It is just like that. Confidence, it makes you shine, and people are just people. I mean, we are all human. We act and we react in specific ways. We are also sometimes weak to be influenced, and this is just something that makes people perceive you as more attractive when you are more confident as well. And of course, you should care for yourself, but Cleopatra did that. She really cared for herself. She even took self-care to another level with her baths in donkey's milk and all those beauty routines that are known from her. So by applying her techniques, you can really bring an extra layer of allure to your own interactions and leave a lasting impression to those around you. Remember, seduction is much more than just your physical appearance or physical beauty. It is a skill that can be learned and refined, just like Cleopatra did. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe and share, and also comment down below, because I would like to know what you think about these techniques. Do you think they are still applicable in today's life? Let me know down below. I'm curious to read from you. Thank you for watching and bye bye.